And there was one more thing actually that he mentioned, that like trading, like they may come for trading as well. And I'm not sure whether he meant just prop firms or whether or like if it was trading like as a whole. And like Michael, if they did do something like that, like what would it look like for trading? Like if they did come for it in that sort of way.
I don't claim to be smart enough to know exactly how they would do it, but I think that 401ks are going to get hit. I believe that we're going to have situations in the banking sector that's going to be basically, money in deposit are just going to be claimed as the bank's. You invested in the bank. You took the loss with them. And the fine print when you open up a bank account, that's why they don't let you take it home. And they know you're not going to sit there and read every word in it. So um, I have a whole lot of opinions, but they're conjecture, and I don't want to dilute the conversation with that right now because, like I said, I'm going to refrain from these topics online. What I've said, I stand on, and I'll just leave it at that. Let's I guess be comfortable with one another and say this is what I've said in the past, and I'm not going to say anything more in the future about it.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. It's just like a little thing that I was wondering, because obviously it can be, especially for for someone new coming into trading, and then like then they hear that sort of thing. It's like, well, is there much point in like in getting into it if it's just all like doomed? But
Well,
no, like, I'm
one
sure.
can look at it like this. Uh, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say I'm wrong, and in my whole life, I live as long as the Lord lets me live. Say I live to be 90. You know, if we're all going to sit around and just say, well, what's the point of this? Because eventually they're going to take away trading, and it doesn't happen until 25 years from now. Good grief. What have you
Mm,
done? You've wasted. So I look at it this way. While the opportunity exists, why not take advantage of it? What are you going to do instead of? You're going to work, right? So
mm,
if you're content with working, there's nothing wrong. I mean, working is minimum. Like that's a minimum requirement. We all are expected to do that. And unless we have a business or, you know, we're rich, if we don't have to do anything. So a minimum expectation in life is you have to work for your meat. So if you don't work, you don't eat. So if you're going to just say, why bother? Because this guy, Michael, said, it's going to be taken away. What you're just basically saying is you're looking for an excuse to avoid the work. Because
mm.
someone that knows what they're doing, if you really put the work in and you do it the right way, inside of 6 months, what's the chance of them taking trading away in the next 6 months? Probably slim. But what happens in 6 months if you learn how to do this in your own hands? Once you have that skill set, no one can take it from you. No one can take it away from you. It's like riding a bicycle. And now you apply it with one micro contract. Are you going to get rich overnight in the first year trading with one micro? No. But what happens if your utility bills, your grocery bills are completely covered by that one micro? How much of an impact is that going to have on your life? See, someone today with the attention span of a gnat because they've been watching too many TikTok videos, they don't appreciate the liberty of knowing that I can have a skill set that will take away one of, or if not majority of my monthly expenses or do serious damage to what I have to spend out of my paycheck each month or each week or whatever it is you get paid on. That liberty is such a relief. Like think about let me ask you, what's your largest expense every month right now?
That would be my rent. Well, I've literally just moved out from my grandparents' house, and I pay like £750 a month rent in my place. But trading can cover that for me, like from the funded account right now, anyway. But
Just
which the
one micro can do that.
yeah, yeah.
So what would happen if you didn't have to pay rent out of your pocket and your one micro contract, its only sole purpose was to just make sure that your rent is covered? What would that do for your lifestyle?
It would make it a lot easier on my mindset, like on everyday life, and not having to worry about like things like that. Because I feel like everyone does have that worry at the moment, like where's the next sort of bit of money coming from? If their job can't, support them in their everyday life, then what motivation do they have to go to work?
Laying your head down at night would be such an easy, effortless task to fall asleep and sleep soundly. Waking up would be a joy. Walking through the day would not be full of anxious thoughts, thinking about, man, I got to get out of this. I feel like I'm smothered. I'm suffocating. I need to find a way to get a better way of doing this. But you're not rich. But that rent that's being covered by that one micro contract, that's my challenge to all of you listening. That's my challenge to you. Spend the next 4 weeks and see if you can get $1,000 with one micro contract. Show me that you've applied the stuff that I'm teaching and that it failed. And I want to see the ones that came forward with it and see that it worked. You can't do more than one micro contract. You're only going to try to make $250 a week. It's easy to do. You're not risking a whole lot. And the joy of knowing that you can make one of the largest expenses, say it's groceries. What do you
Yeah, it's
spend a month on
amazing.
groceries?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you, what do you spend on average a month in groceries? What do you think it is?
Well, maybe like 100, maybe £150,
A month?
maybe like $180. Yeah, maybe.
What are you eating? What is it you're eating that's little? That's a little bit. Like
That's not a lot, bro.
yeah,
Well,
that's nothing.
I've only been like I've been moved out like a week, so I haven't really
Oh, okay.
had like the
You're
full.
about
Oh,
to
okay.
find out. Yeah, you're
I
about to
haven't had
find
the
out.
full scope, to be honest. But yeah.
I'll say it this way. I have a niece that lives with me. My youngest son still lives with me. My wife and I. Okay. We spend about $2,300 a month in groceries. And
Damn.
I'm telling you that if you're a single person, I think it's reasonable to anticipate around $600 a month. And that's just like, your every household stuff. You need cleaning supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, and detergents that you use to clean your dishes while you're eating off of it, and your main staples that replenish your pantry with. I think that's a reasonable number. It may be higher, maybe slightly a little bit lower, but I can't imagine it being slightly lower because everything's just expensive and people need to eat. So if you don't want to do it with $1,000, okay, whatever your grocery bill is, aim with that one micro. And I promise you, if you do it the right way, it'll convince you that you've been pushing too much emphasis on things that you can't do with your present skill set. But if you dial it all the way back to the smallest degree of effort, which is one micro contract, $2 per handle,
Mm.
$2 per handle. If you did that with your funded accounts, don't do more than that. Build it up, over the course of 4 weeks, and then take out your grocery money, take out your rent money, and then repeat and reset and do the same thing. Don't go to 2 contracts, just do 1. That's all that account does. That's all it does. They're not going to say, well, we got to move you to a live account because you're just killing us, because you're just a small little fox nibbling on the vine.
Yeah.
But you will be
100%.
able to make a huge impact in your personal income. And then what will happen is after you do 1 or 2 months like that, they say, okay, I can do this now, so let me scale up to 2 or 3 contracts. And then that money you build up, you put that in a live account with a real regulated broker. And then go back to doing what you were doing before. Keep your little funded account thing going on, but trade your live account too, 1 micro. Not 2, not 3, 1 micro. And you do this. Now you have 2 accounts and you build it up. And over 6 months, either have another account that you use for wealth building where you don't take any withdrawals from it. You don't do anything like that. You got income coming in for meeting bills. You have another one that is just for big expenses that you don't think are like it's an emergency fund. It used to be people are told, hey, save up a little bit of money and have an emergency fund. Well, how easy is that to do now? It's hard. It's very hard for the average person to do that. So you either have to have a side hustle, a business, or something like that, or you don't do it. So by creating an opportunity for a funded account or a very small cash account to build that up, and then you let your wealth build an account. So you're gonna have 3 accounts. One's for meeting ends. One is for unexpected things that something pops up you didn't expect. You need tires. You have an issue with your alternator in your car. Something goes wrong with your car. You need a down payment on a car because your car gave up the ghost and died. Where are you going to get that money from? Well, by using this account to build up for that purpose, you're not grabbing out of it just because you want to spend money. You're doing it so that way it's unexpected expenses. So you're building discipline. You're being a fund manager. You're getting your ends met by the first account that's still going. And then you slowly work up gradually as your skill set permits it to allow you to do double that once in a while. And then go to 3 times that. And then quadruple that. And then never even touch a mini contract. Just stay in the micros.
Yeah, no,
And
I'm
you will do
confident
it.
in the
Yeah,
micro.
yeah. You'll literally be able to sleep. You won't be fearful of the trades because there's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money
Yeah.
coming in out of the account. But when you change your idea about money, what are you using the money for? It's a tool. But everybody thinks that money has to be a status symbol. You're looking at money all wrong. People that have money, I don't look at my money as a symbol of influence. It's a tool. It makes me money. I don't care what anybody else thinks about what I should or shouldn't do with money. I'm the one that doesn't work. But you have to start somewhere. And this is one way that absolutely works. It works. And I want to see people try to have this mindset going forward, because you'll see just a little bit like that will prevent scared money. It will prevent over trading. It will prevent this toxic thought process that we place on ourselves, because you're looking at all these influencers. Maybe you're looking at me and you're thinking, I'm not impressed by this. This isn't enough. What ain't enough? I can tell you something. As a 20-year-old, I was paying $416 a month in rent for an apartment. Cody, my oldest son, was with me basically 6 days out of the week, and his mother had him 1 day a week on Thursday nights. If I would have had a micro plan like I'm talking about right here that paid my rent every month, that would have been a big weight off my chest. I wouldn't have been worried about, man, I hope this doesn't work in my favor, or that doesn't work, against me. I would have been, this is what I have to do, because I had just recently filed bankruptcy. I had to start all over again. All over again. I know what it's like to do this. I know what it's like. But now it's even more complicated because you have all of the inflation, and it's going to continuously get higher. And gas prices are going to get really high. Heating costs are going to get really high. What are you going to do, listeners? Listen, what are you going to do to mitigate these costs that are increasing exponentially? What are you doing? Because you're not fixing it by doing heavy leverage trading, multiple accounts, 20 accounts, buying all these accounts. Fuck that. One account. Stop making these funded account companies fucking rich. Start milking them. Drain their ass. All of you collectively could be taking $1,000 a month out of them, and they're not going to rush you away. They're not going to broom you away because there's only 1,000. What logic would that be? You go forward in the public and say, this is what I've been doing. They close my account on me. Oh, shit, that's bad. None of them want that bad publicity right now. So you don't have to worry about it. Just make small, little bite-sized approaches to building the money up each month. You get one payout a month. Work towards that one payout. If you can't do that, you can't be a fucking trader. You're not disciplined. You won't be disciplined to do it with more money. What makes you think if you can't do that, more money, more leverage is going to do it? It's not. You're going to be scared because you don't know what the hell you're doing with one contract. Now you're going to trade with 20 minis, 15 minis, 30 minis. Just the numbers alone, and they're not even real money. That fluctuation is going to freak you out. Oh man, what is going on? I can't stomach this. But every one of you listening can stomach one micro contract, 75 handle stop loss with a negative R. You can all stomach that with an obvious draw on liquidity. Tell me I'm wrong. Prove it this month. Prove it over the next 4 weeks. Tell me I'm wrong with data. This is what I did. I used a 75 handle stop loss, and I'm aiming for the close proximity liquidity where it's smooth. I promise you, you're going to come out positive. I promise you. And you won't fear it. You won't feel it. You won't feel the pressure. You won't feel any of the anxiety, but you'll see the math holds up. It holds up. And when you change and you have this paradigm shift about money, you allow money to scare the shit out of you. It's got so much power over all of you, so much influence over you, that it makes you forget what you learned for months. It made you forget your model. It made you forget about what PV arrays you're looking at. You're looking at price action moving all around. It's like, what in the hell am I looking at? I better just jump in here because I can't stand it. I can't sit still long enough to focus. And then just get in here and just do something. Because if I make money, it'll break me out of this mindset, and I'll be better for it. No, it doesn't work like that. And none of you are journaling to recognize that that's what the problem is. You hold money to a degree of influence over you versus you influencing the cause and effect of using money as a tool. You have to master that money. Otherwise, the money's going to master you. And how's it do it? It makes you fucking broke. It makes you regret ever doing it. And then you'll hate me, you'll hate trading, you'll want to do nothing with it, and you are cheating yourself because you're giving the enemy the exact way in to get to you. Anyway, I hijacked your time, but hopefully I gave you something that was useful.
No, that's really good.